we've made a decision that the Syrian opposition coalition is now inclusive enough, is reflective and representative enough of the Syrian population that we consider them the legitimate representative of the Syrian people in opposition to the Assad regime, and so we will provide them recognition, and obviously with that recognition...
Recognizing the umbrella insurgent group as a sole representative of the Syrian people brings the US in line with its Arab allies and the European Union, including Britain and France, which took the same step earlier. Britain, France and several of America's Arab allies made a similar move shortly after the opposition body was created at a meeting of its representatives in Qatar last month. Hours after the announcement, Russia reacted to the move, slamming the US recognition of the umbrella insurgent group.
As the coalition has been recognized as the only legitimate representative, it seems that the United States decided to place all bets on the armed victory of this very national coalition.
The recognition is the latest in a series of moves the US has taken to bolster the fractured groups that seek a regime change in Syria. Many experts believe that the decision would reignite the flames of unrest in Syria, causing more violence and bloodshed in the crisis-hit country. Washington's announcement comes following its blacklisting of the Al-Nusra Front as a terror group. But this move is seen as nothing more than a propaganda gesture, since the armed groups fighting in Syria include foreign militants who are also linked to Al-Qaeda. Syria has been hit by deadly unrest since March 2011. The Syrian government has repeatedly held the US and its regional allies, including Saudi Arabia, Qatar and Turkey, responsible for arming and funding the opposition. According to many experts, Washington's support of the foreign-backed militants contradicts its policy on al-Nusra when it comes to its war against terrorism. But how can Washington justify such contradiction?
Well, they don't feel that they need to justify it. They have billions of dollars worth of propaganda outlets like the mainstream media here in the West that will convince most readers and most viewers that that there's not an incongruence between these two ideas, when in fact there absolutely is.
Although some countries, including Russia and China, oppose foreign military intervention in Syria and try to resolve the situation through negotiations, the US and its allies continue to insist on the military option, thus pushing Syria towards a long battle that has already destroyed the country's infrastructure beyond repair.
Well, for more insight on that story, I'm now joined by Mr. Ridwan Rizk. He is a political commentator with us by satellite from the Lebanese capital, Beirut. Mr. Rizk, welcome to the program. Would you say that this recognition by the United States shows that the U.S. doesn't want dialogue, and in contrary to what it claims, it doesn't want a peaceful solution to the crisis in Syria?
Well, we can only say that this shows the recognition of the Council as a legitimate representative of the Syrian people. That only reflects that the American or the U.S. administration does not have a clear plan. What do they want from the Syrian crisis? Actually, by claiming or announcing that the Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra, and other fundamentalist groups were listed under as forbidden groups or criminals, as they don't recognize them, and then they belong to the Al-Qaeda. Today we see that they recognize the Council as a legitimate representative of the Syrian people. This shows how much that the Americans does not have a clear plan for the Syria. And another thing is we must understand that America or Obama is under tremendous pressure from Israel, which is nobody is lighting on that point. Israel is playing a big part on putting a tremendous pressure on the U.S. government in order to have a full support to the Syrian groups opposition who are fighting or supporting the fight fighters on the ground in Syria. And also this is we know that talks is going to take place between Iran and USA. This is only will improve the possibilities or the chances of America in talks of Iran, and putting so much pressure on Iran also by solving or not solving the Syrian crisis. This shows exactly that the USA is trying to follow what's happening in Syria, because the Europeans, especially the British and the French and other, and Qatar and Saudi Arabia, Turkey, are far ahead to achieve whatever they can on Syrian grounds. So the Americans are trying to catch up with that and see if they can come with some kind of gaining or achieve some kind of interest in Syria. So they don't want the Syrian crisis to be solved, and the Americans are not there, as we saw in Libya. So the Libyan scenario will not be repeated in Syria, and the situation is so much different, because Assad, Bashar Assad, still have a full support of the Russians, and the Al-Qaeda now is the strongest part on the Syrian
thank you
ground.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Political commentator Mr. Ridwan Rizk from Beirut.